February 26th, 2021. It's almost day 350 of my lockdown diary here in British Columbia, Canada. I'm Drutter, and the topic of this discussion, that will be short, hopefully, is can we opt out? And I'm talking about opting out of the system, of society, of the state, and the government, and everything else that's going on right now that seems to come from all those things. I think I'm not alone in being sick and tired of the masks and the vaccines and the threats of vaccines and the immunity passports and the cashless society and the Great Reset and the New World Order and the new normal and the fear and the lies and the mainstream media and voting and censorship and propaganda and toxic food and water and pharmaceuticals and prohibition and war and tyranny. I'm just sick of all of it. I'm sick of that and so much more. And all that comes from the state. That is not the people that want any of those things. And I'm just so sick and tired of it, and I want to know, is there a way to opt out? Because in any society with a degree of voluntarism or agorism, can we not do what we want to do as long as we're not harming others? Isn't that liberty, basically? Do we not have liberty in Canada, in the United States, in a lot of these countries where all this is going on right now? Supposedly we do. On the books we do. Not that rights come from pens and paper, but officially we do. But of course, officially those rights have been suspended, because that's the problem with writing rights down on paper. They can just be ripped up, burned, or nullified in some way with other pieces of paper. So our rights have been taken away by the state, our natural rights as living sentient beings. And, I'm tired of it, and I want to know, is there a way to opt out of that? So I was thinking, what is it that the state, that society, that modern society in the last, say, 20 years is offering me? What is it? What am I getting from it right now? Or what is it saying that it's giving me anyway? It says that it's giving me things like smart devices, right? And Wi-Fi. That's basically the only technological advancements that's happened in the past 20 years. Maybe self-driving cars or something. But really, we were going wild in the 80s and 90s. We were getting new appliances in the home. All kinds of things were changing. And now it's just that smart device. You get a new upgrade on your smart device. That's the only thing that's changing for people anymore in the past 20 years. And we were about to hit exponential technology, and boom, all of a sudden it just went linear, and you get your smart device upgrade, and that's it. I have never used a smart device or Wi-Fi of any kind. Never. I don't use them. I don't own them, and they're not in my home ever. So to take that away from me is no threat. Please do take all that away from me, including the 5G that they're installing right now in my neighborhood. I don't want it. I don't want it. Don't need it. Never used it. I have a landline. It's how phones used to work. They still work that way, actually. We just don't use them anymore. And, roads. Roads. They say that's one of the things the government does. It's one of the main things you need is roads, but I've never used roads in years. I don't use them. I walk along the side of roads, I guess, but I would rather just walk through an open field or down a path, actually, if there was one through town, but there isn't any. There's no walking path. I have to use the road. I don't want it. Take it away, please. Go ahead. Threaten me some more with taking away the roads. What, then I won't have to pay taxes, right? That's basically what you're doing with the tax money, supposedly, is one of the things, is roads. I don't need it. And then people say, well, what about in Canada? Don't you have, free healthcare? I have done so many videos and so many articles on this. We don't have free healthcare in Canada. We pay through the ass for healthcare in Canada. It's just included. Nothing's free. And you pay what you get for anyway. If you pay $0, if you bill $0 to go and visit a doctor, guess how much your care you're getting from that doctor? None. You don't get anything from any doctors anymore in this system. They need their $185 to see you and get you out the door in less than 3 minutes. That's all they need. It's just a system now. It's broken. I have had a health problem for 5 years now, since my grandmother died, that came on very suddenly after she died. It had symptoms ranging from neurological symptoms like twitching all over, shaking, tremors, blurred vision, bladder problems. Basically, it sounds like MS, pain in the nerves, neuropathic pain, all those kind of things. I was told it wasn't MS. That's all I was told. I wasn't told what it is. I still don't know what it is. A doctor has suggested to me, or a few doctors have suggested, maybe you have fibromyalgia. I don't know. I have a major chronic illness. I am very sick. I'm suffering every day for the past 5 years. It's not chronic pain, it's constant pain. I feel like I'm burning alive all the time, but I never die. It's terrible. How am I sitting here and talking to you? Because just through sheer willpower and through cannabis. I'm in partial remission, whatever this is, through cannabis, and I've documented that process as well. SSRIs almost killed me. I almost died because of pharmaceuticals. Cannabis saved my life. And cannabis is illegal because of this state and prohibited, even for patients like my wife and I, despite legalization in 2018, because all legalization is tyranny. Legalization is control. Legalization is the statism. Legalization is tyranny, period. It's oppression. It's a lie, and I documented that fact. Please see my documentary, Legalization is a Lie, linked below. So this system is offering me healthcare, supposedly, which I do not want and have not been able to take advantage of. Roads, I don't need them. Maybe you still need roads, I don't. I will gladly go without roads and sidewalks. Smart devices, Wi-Fi and 5G, I don't need and I don't want. And I can't think of anything else positive that society is supposedly offering me. What is society giving us right now? I'm not talking about each other. We can have each other without the state and without living in huge cities like we do, and without, smart devices and stuff. I'm talking about getting out and opting out of all that, opting out and living like it's 1999 again. I think 1999 was the pinnacle of human society, I really do. And I kind of felt it at the time. I was busy getting married, and that's a whole other story where that went in the next few years after that, but 99, I think, was it for us. It almost feels like it's just been a rerun since then. And I increasingly feel unable to fully grasp everything that's going on. I used to be able to grasp it. I have a mind that can grasp many things at once, as many of us watching this probably do. But over the years, that ability is not getting me as far as it used to get me. And part of that, sure, is because I'm getting older, but part of that is also because there's so much happening right now. There's just so much happening. It's a different world than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago when I started doing all this stuff. There's just so much news, most of it more social engineering than an effort to inform. In fact, I think all of it would be considered social engineering now. The mainstream media, you're only being told what you're supposed to be thinking and supposed to be wanting and doing. It really is not there to teach you what's going on in the world. You don't know what's going on in the world if you're watching the mainstream media, and especially if you're not watching anything else like alternate sources. But even alternate sources of news aren't really enough anymore. So many of them, like myself, are censored, hidden, silenced in various ways. Some of them are even dead, and the information war is absolutely on. Alex Jones was right about that. It is an information war. Few step up to carry the torch now, and few are trying to keep the truth alive. The truth is being allowed to be suppressed, being allowed to be hidden again. And fewer people know really what's going on. Although more and more people are waking up, it's getting harder and harder to find out what's true and what's real. And now AI is being waged against us in very complicated ways. And it's an all-out information war. So I don't feel like I have a full grasp on that anymore. And did you ever play poker or any card games at a casino? And there's a saying, if you don't know who's the fish, and the fish is the guy who is being profited off of by the house and the rest of the players, basically, the guy who's losing all the money to everyone else. If you don't know who's the fish, it's probably you. If you aren't in control, if you don't know exactly what's going on in a situation, Sun Tzu probably talked about this too, but you aren't in control. If you don't know you're in control, and if you haven't figured everything out and seen it from all angles, you probably don't have a full grasp on it anymore. And I feel like that's where I am now. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get that grasp back because technology is advancing exponentially, and I am not. So, a technocratic control grid that I've been warning about for 15 years has now been put in place over and around us. And the locks are being put on and we are being shackled in. And the docile sheep themselves are just lining up to be chipped, to be vaccinated, to be whatever, right? I want it, they say. I want it. I'm not getting it because I have to. I want it, they say. Right. You're getting it because you have to. You just don't want to admit that you're a slave. And that's the sad truth of where a lot of people are right now. They're going to take this, what's going on, they're going to take it because they don't think they can opt out. They don't know that there's a way to opt out. Maybe there isn't. That's what I'm asking. But these people are putting their necks in the noose, and it's being tightened. And they're being told, don't struggle. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to kick the stool out from under your feet. You're fine. Don't be paranoid. Right? And those that don't comply, they're now admitting, yes, you will be cast out. You will be demonized. You will eventually be destroyed. You're not welcome, and you're not part of the new world order, the new normal, the great reset. You're not part of the future. And now I have a baby son, so I'm thinking about his future. And I want to begin a new world for him. A fresh start, like his great, 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 great grandparents, who I have traced back diligently over the past year, getting into genealogy in this lockdown. And I found that those, my great-great-great-great-grandparents settled parts of remote Canada in the 1800s. They were original settlers in various parts, first in eastern United States and eastern Canada in the 1700s, even some coming over on the original ships, I think, in the 1600s, some of my family, and then working their way west mostly across Canada, into the prairies eventually. We did a couple of generations in Ontario in the 1800s, and then in the early 1900s we were in Saskatchewan, and then in the late 1900s we moved into BC, and we've spread throughout BC now, and here I am in the interior of BC living in a small town, but it's too big. It's too big. The state is here, and it is in control of this place, and it's in control of all the people here. And I don't want to be a part of that, where all this is going anymore. And I think there's a lot of people like that right now, a lot. But where can we go for this fresh start? Because that's not legal anymore. All they used to do is go into a place and put up a camp, literally a camp with tents. And then they would start work on chopping down trees and building log cabins. And then if someone came along, they'd say, what's this? And they'd say, this is a settlement. It was called a settlement. It was where humans were. If there was humans there, living in a place that wasn't a city, it was called a settlement. And they had settlements. I want to do that. I'm 45 years old. And I think even though I'm sick, even though I don't have the energy that I used to have, and even though I don't have the strategic capabilities I used to have, I still think I have some, and I still think I have enough to do what my ancestors did, because some of them even started out late in life, like me. They'd have to have a second family. Sometimes their wife and children would die, and they would start out again. I want to start out again. I have my young wife, I have a young child, and I have maybe 4 decades of natural, healthy life ahead of me if I am unmolested by the state any further. If I can get some peace, if I can get away from the vaccines, if I can get away from the smart devices. I don't need them. I don't want them. And I believe, even if other people disagree with me, and don't want that for themselves, that they should allow me to go. They should say, you are allowed to opt out. We don't need you anymore. If you're not going to be a part of it, then you go somewhere else. You don't take our resources, but you go somewhere else. I feel like I should be allowed to go somewhere else. Somewhere else with a bit of water, maybe a well that I could put down, and some trees and some dirt and some sunshine. That's all I need, because I can grow food. I can grow and extract medicine myself in a regular own home kitchen with nothing special at all. All I need is my skills, my time, my energy, and to not be molested and prohibited by the state. And every business that I've tried to start in the past 10 years has been destroyed by the state. So the state is not my friend. It is not, people say, oh, think of what about all the COVID benefits they've been handing out and stuff? Great, thanks, a lot. No, I don't want that though. Of course I spent it. You think I would just tear up that cash? No, I spent it. But I don't want to live in a world where that's happening. I don't want that. I don't want money handouts. I don't want anything from the state, because a state that supplies all of its citizens' needs usurps all its citizens' rights and powers. If you are reliant on something for handouts, it owns you, and I don't want to be owned. I don't want my son to be owned. Where can I go in Canada to get away from the state? Where can any of us go? What if there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of us in Canada, maybe millions of us out of the 35 million in Canada that don't agree with this, that don't want this? Are we allowed to say no, or are we going to be forced, essentially, in order to live? Will we have to comply at some point? Will we have to acquiesce to this system, to this state, to the evil? I want a world of peace. And yes, I want some technology, but maybe 1999 level of technology. That was when I first got high-speed internet. I'd love to go back to that time. That was a great time. Everything was just starting up. All the good stuff was on the internet. Chat programs, file transfer, all kinds of downloads, freedom. It was the wild west of the internet. I would love to go back to 1999. 22 years, that's all I'm asking, to go back 22 years. And if I can't do that, how can I opt out of this 2021 that I'm living in now? How can I opt out of everything that's going on? And is there somewhere that I have to sign to say that I don't want the state anymore? As I will. And I think there's other people that are with me on that. And I think there's going to be opportunities coming in the future for us. But we have to get through this next little while, and it is really hard right now. So I've just put this video out here because I feel like I have to. I need to opt out, and I think there's other people. We're going to find each other, and eventually we're going to get something going. And if the state tries to stop us, that just shows how corrupt and how evil it is, that you are not allowed to say, I am not a part of what you're doing.